Hi everyone, I'm Nick and this is Mainely Watches. Today we are going to be talking about a watch from a American brand, Vaer. They are a micro brand based out of the West Coast, and we will be looking at the Vaer G7 Meridian. That is one of their GMT watches. This watch has now been discontinued. It came out in 2021 and I believe it was discontinued in 2023. They do have a new Meridian on its way to you. It's, I believe, going to have a Japanese Miyota movement, and they are assembled in the US. This particular watch we're going to look at today is a Swiss-made watch, or assembled in Switzerland, and has the Sellita SW330 movement. I've owned this watch for a number of years. I bought it in early 22, so it's had considerable time on my wrist. And I just wanted to share with you my impressions on this Vaer timepiece. Okay, the Vaer G7 Meridian. This watch is a 2022 model. I've owned it since new. The watch, I believe the G7s originally came out in late 2021. What distinguishes this model from the normal Vaer line is that it's actually a Swiss-made watch. Indeed, Vaer has marketed themselves as being a company with a lot of U.S. manufacturing or U.S. assembly, so this was kind of a unique step for Vaer. Sadly, these watches were not on the market very long. I think they were discontinued around 2023, but still it shares a lot of the Vaer aesthetic, the Vaer shape, and of course all the cross-commonality with their accessories, be it bracelets and straps. So we're going to start taking a look at the dimensions and specs on this watch, and then get into my subjective opinions on 3 years of ownership with this watch. So just bear with me. I'm going to pull the bracelet off and we'll take a closer look here. Getting into the specifications on this watch, has a very wearable size. The case diameter is 40 millimeters as I measure it. The lug-to-lug length is 46, and you have a 20 millimeter lug width. So very, good contemporary sized watch. Crown is 7 millimeter diameter, so very easy to grasp it. And the thickness of this watch, as I measure it, is coming in at 14.5 millimeters. Now, Vaer, in their documentation, I think they say it's around a 14. As I measure it, it's 14.5 to that double dome crystal. Weights, just the watch case alone, as you see it here, is coming in at 70 grams. When it's paired on the stainless steel bracelet, it's coming in at a very wearable 140 grams. And I measured it at 90 grams on the leather strap and I believe 100 grams on the Tropic. So very, very wearable sized watch in terms of dimensions and weights. It's not extremely heavy, very contemporary case size. If anything, just a little on the thick side, coming in over 14 millimeters. This is the Pepsi version, so you have the very dark navy blue and red bezel. The dial on the watch is very simple, very clean. This is a no-date watch, which is actually a little rare in terms of GMTs. Most of them do have a date. So this is actually one of the big attractions to me with this watch, was that it was a no date. The dial, you have Swiss Superluminova on the indices, good lume. The bezel is not lumed, although you do have a little lume pip here. Applied indices and very clean, simple printed text, Vaer, 200 meter automatic and Swiss made. The bezel is aluminum on this watch, which is also a nice departure. A lot of watches nowadays, they're either ceramic or sapphire. So the aluminum, although it is subject to scratching, is a little more old school look and has a nice soft matte finish to it. Case finish on this watch, of course, it's 316 stainless. There is a combination of some nice horizontal brushing and polishing. The lugs have a turned down, very Omega Aquaterra look with that turn down on the lug, but nicely executed case design. If we flip the watch around, here you can see you have a very nice exhibition case back. 200-meter water resistant, designed in Los Angeles, Swiss-made sapphire glass, 316. It is a screw-in case back, and of course you have a screw-in crown. So even with my cotton gloves on here, quite easy to manipulate, and you get a pop. First position, you can wind the watch, and then you can also hack the watch too. So very easy crown to use, even with gloves. Thread engagement is very nice, no issues threading it, very smooth, so that's well executed. Movement on this watch, we have a Swiss-made Sellita, and this is the SW330-2. That's 25 joule, it's a high beat, 800 beats per second. And again, this is a no-date version. It is an office GMT or a collar GMT. But again, you can see that movement beautifully done. Geneva stripes on the rotor. I do believe it is one of the higher grade movements because you've glue screws and a little bit nicer finishing on there. So very nice, nice job to see that Sellita movement. Now the current Vaer G series, they actually just sent out an email that they've got a new model coming out, and I believe they will be using the Miyota 9 series. So I guess these Swiss ones will go down as being a bit of a rare breed in Vaer history. I do think the initial release of these watches had ETA movements, and then they very quickly started switching over to the Sellitas. So you've got Swiss Superluminova indices, domed sapphire crystal, and again, that sort of classic Vaer shape to it. You'll see the crown is signed with Vaer's name, and it is, of course, a bi-directional bezel, which I like to see. So you can actually keep 3 time zones here. Nice, nice action on the bezel. Very positive. Now you'll notice, and I'm having difficulties here filming this, is the reflection. Vaer does have an anti-reflective coating on this watch, but it is, as you can see, blue. So it is picking up the backlight from my window when I hold it, and you can see that blue. And that is one of the negatives, I would say, is that their anti-reflective coating is not the best on this watch. They could have done a better job with the AR. Another subjective remark I have, and this is not my first Vaer. I had a D series Meridian prior to that with the same case, and you'll notice, if I can catch it here, the riho, or the flange, that's sort of that distance between where the dial is and the top of the case and the bezel, the riho. It's very deep. The result is you have a very large space between the dial and the top of this crystal. And they have not finished that flange at all. It's just shiny metal. You can this is a good angle here. You can see it. It's just the watch case. They haven't made any attempt to blacken it or put a nice printed index ring or anything on there to finish it. And I think this kind of just cheapens the look of the watch, and it kind of gives you that feeling you're looking down into a porthole when you're looking at the dial. I also wonder if the sapphire crystal, the optical clarity of it is not the best either, but the anti-reflective coating I have issues with, and again, like I said, the depth of that dial and the riho. It kind of gives the watch it feels sort of hollow when you're wearing it. And the watch, it's not a particularly heavy watch, coming in at only 70 grams for the case, but I think because of its size and the depth between the crystal and the dial, it just kind of makes the watch feel hollow. And that, like I said, I've had that with other Vaers. I had a D series, I guess it was a D5 Meridian, which had a date window on it, and you couldn't really even see that date. It was set so far down in the dial, and then the date disc was even further below it. The date window on it was almost useless. So if I'm going to knock this watch, that's my biggest complaint. You know, they could have, had they made this watch in at around 12 millimeters, I think it would have been absolutely perfect. But here you can see that classic shape. Another little thing I will ding them for are the lug ends. They are a little sharp. They could have done a little bit better finishing. These are pretty sharp. I've seen worse, but you know, I've also seen much better. But interesting case shape nonetheless. You can see how that bezel kind of flares out. The watch does wear very comfortably on the wrist, and I say that after having owned this watch for going on 3 years now. It is a comfortable watch. So we'll pause it here. I'll throw it back on the bracelet and the straps and show you how it wears on my 7.5-inch wrist. On the Vaer Horween leather strap, this is a sort of a cognac colored leather. You can see how the watch wears. It looks actually really sharp on this leather strap, a little bit dressy. It is a very nice quality strap. Vaer signed buckle, plenty of length. Very nice finish to it. One of the nice things with Vaer is that all of their watches are using that 20 millimeter lug width, so they have a lot of cross compatibility. And here you can see the back of this Horween leather strap. Of course, you've got the quick release here, which is a nice touch. So we'll go around and put this on the bracelet now and show you how this wears on the bracelet. And on the Vaer Premium bracelet, this is a 3-link bracelet, all stainless steel. You can see how the watch wears on here. Suits the watch very well. Looks very nice too with the end pieces, how they match. If I take the bracelet off, you can see you're getting a fairly basic clasp, pusher for the lock, so that works out nice. You've got a few micro adjusts here, very simple kind of micro adjusts. The bracelet is all screwed, which I appreciate. Very easy to size it, and yeah, generally it's a good bracelet. As I said, this is their premium bracelet. This bracelet is also fitted with the quick release spring bars. If I do have one comment, I would say that you can just see how they protrude. They're also a little bit sharp, but honestly on the wrist you don't really notice it unless you have it really tight. These might dig a bit into your wrist, but for the most part, the bracelet is very comfortable to wear it on. And of course, everything is quick release, so we can just pull this off. You can see how easy you can remove your accessories here with the quick release. So that's the bracelet taken off. The bracelet is a 20 millimeter end link, and it tapers down to 16 at the clasp. So very nice, nice shape, all stainless steel. Smooth, no complaints about how the bracelet is finished. So comfortable bracelet. Now if we want to put it on the Tropic, again you've got your quick release spring bars, so pretty easy to change it out. It's one end, that other end here. This is a Tropic FKM rubber, and again the watch looks very nice, very kind of a classic look on this Tropic strap. It is a nice quality strap. They doesn't say who it's made by. I'm guessing it's not a genuine Tropic. And here we are with it on the wrist on the Tropic strap. Also, again, looks very nice. It's a nice strap. Sometimes I'm not a huge fan of Tropics because of all the tail that hangs out, But, you know, certainly if you're going to go swimming or do something active outdoors is probably the way to go. So there it is on the Tropic. Plenty of adjustment holes. You know, my wrist is 7.5 inches, and you can see there's plenty of room on the strap for pretty much any wrist size you want to try it on. So, final thoughts on the Vaer G7 Meridian. As I said, I've owned this watch now almost 3 years, so I'm pretty familiar with it. It's a good watch. I've not had any problems with it. It's certainly been reliable. It keeps good time. I do believe the movements were regulated. I don't know whether they were done in-house here in the US by Vaer or before they left the factory in Switzerland, but it's, you know, it's certainly running to an acceptable amount, probably around 10 seconds a day. No complaints on the accuracy. And as I say, it's a comfortable daily wearing watch. It's maybe just a little bit too thick if you want to wear it under a dress shirt, but it'll squeak by. But as a daily wearer, it's a pretty tough watch to beat. And I like that fact that it is a no-date GMT. So this kind of makes it a little more just put it on your wrist and go kind of thing. Biggest complaint I have is that AR. Here you can see it, just that blue sheen from it. So that is one of the negatives I have. And again, that just that distance here with the reho, or the flange depth being quite deep down to the dial. But a very nicely executed watch, and I think Vaer makes a good product. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back again next week with a review on another watch or possibly some watch straps. But I hope you enjoyed this. As always, my videos are not sponsored. This is just my own honest opinion on my own watches that I own and I've had experience with. So, hope you enjoyed this, and stay tuned, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.